What's good, everybody? It is your boy Tony the Savant back again. Hope everybody's having a good to great day, man. Shout out to y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're pulling up to the video. Shout out to the Legacy Over Money gang. Shout out to the Legacy Over Money Sports Network. Got some t-shirts dropping, some exclusive content coming from some cats that I like. I'm gonna be putting on very soon. So y'all just keep your eyes and ears out for that. All right, man, let's get right into this bag. We talking about Floyd Mayweather, as I have to reiterate some points that I've made about Floyd in the past. Um, I've received some criticisms for these opinions about Floyd, but I'm applying these comments, concerns, criticisms to this Ryan Garcia situation because I feel like, well, let me say this: Ryan Garcia slash Devin Haney situation, because I'm beginning to feel like Floyd Mayweather is the reason why Ryan Garcia changed his mind about his fight with Devin Haney, because there seems to be a correlation. Now, Ryan Garcia has forever been a flip flop kind of dude. You know what I mean? I didn't pay much attention to Ryan Garcia before his fight with Tank Davis. Um, I knew that he was a quote unquote social media sensation and all that kind of stuff. But as far as following him on Instagram and all that stuff, I mean, I believe I do or I did. But I didn't pay attention to the stuff that he posted. I mean, I would see some of the little workout videos and all that kind of stuff he would do. As far as boxing and being in the gym, I was seeing what everybody else seen, but wasn't a fan. Say it like that. But since Ryan Garcia has been running around with Floyd Mayweather and doing all these photo ops, I think there was at what fight was it? Errol Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. It was some fight I believe I seen him at. They're just doing all these photo ops. Him and Floyd best friends all of a sudden. And I feel like personally, now this is just a suspicion. I know like I said, I've gotten criticisms for this, these very opinions. I feel like Floyd Mayweather is threatened by Devin Haney. I feel like Floyd talks a big game about, belts not being that important and all that kind of stuff when it comes to these young fighters. For the dudes that's, on their come up right now or in their primes right now. But I believe it's because he's secretly working against their best interests so they don't surpass him in greatness. Because it would be a for sure thing in the bag to say, Tank Davis is potentially can be seen as better than Floyd Mayweather because if Tank were undisputed in the 135 division, that would give him an accolade that Floyd doesn't have. And then we can begin to have a conversation about is Tank better than Floyd, depending on how he, got his undisputed. Because he got his WBA championship through the email. You know what I mean? The same thing he ran around teasing everybody else about. That's how he was able to attain his championship belt. Nonetheless, I believe this is all the masterminding of Floyd Mayweather. If these kids, let me say it like this, if these cats don't fight each other, how could we ever determine who's the greater between themselves, let alone compare them up with the greatest, the greats? We've measured Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Sonny Liston, Mike Tyson, all of them. I ain't got to go through the entire list. Floyd Mayweather too. We've judged all these dudes by the competition that they face, by how they performed, and by setting themselves apart from the crowd. Unfortunately, there has been some criticisms about Floyd Mayweather's career. Now, my thing with Floyd is, I was a kid growing up during his prime and his come up, the Pretty Boy Floyd era. I was still a child, and then by the time he started becoming Money Mayweather, I was in my teenage, young adult years. So I didn't really understand the nuance of how Floyd Mayweather was moving. And I can see how a lot of these kids think now, about Tank Davis or, whoever their favorite guy is, Shakur or Devin. I can see how these kids now perceive their favorite fighters, and how they come up with the resolutions of, Tank Davis is the best fighter right now or the face of boxing right now, despite that, Tank hasn't faced, the peers, the other challengers of that title or that accolade. Uh, we haven't seen Tank go against Shakur. I'm sure that fight would, if Shakur was to beat Tank, that fight would sway some people to believe that Shakur Stevenson is the face of boxing. He's young. Uh, he's one of the prodigies of the boxing game and all that, such and such. But for us as boxing fans, because we're partially to blame too, we allow ourselves to be manipulated by these dudes, and none more so than Floyd Mayweather. Like I say, I think Floyd has a very manipulative tactic of convincing these guys that belts don't matter, that fighting each other doesn't matter, because obviously he's now manipulating Ryan Garcia. I believe he manipulated Ryan Garcia out of that fight with Devin Haney, uh, because quiet as kept, I kind of noticed that right after the Regis Prograis fight with Devin Haney beat Regis and immediately started getting on Tank Davis' heels. Not just Devin Haney, all of the boxing community, almost in unison was saying, "All right, ain't nowhere else to go. Uh, Now it's time to get this Tank Davis and Devin Haney fight." But then all of a sudden, Ryan Garcia comes out of nowhere, and he's stealing some of the limelight from that momentum that the Haneys was gathering for a fight with Tank. Uh, Ryan Garcia comes out of nowhere and says he wants to fight Devin. And rightfully so. Devin accepted the challenge. He said, "All right, Tank's still running around on the internet, crying and complaining, not trying to fight because immediately after that Regis Prograis fight, Tank said that." Started putting it out there that Devin Haney was quote unquote too big, pause, and all this other nonsense, saying everything except let's fight, essentially, how I see it. But anyway, Ryan Garcia comes out of nowhere, steals some of the momentum from that fight, which I think that's why I completely feel Floyd Mayweather was behind this, because the day Tank Davis loses a fight or doesn't look invincible like he does against the flat-footed Latinos that Floyd Mayweather handpicks for him. No offense, I hope nobody gets offense to that, but it's a particular brand of fighter that you will always, not going to say always, but that we've been accustomed to Tank Davis fighting. I would love to see Tank Davis fight one of these dudes, one of his peers. Like I say, the Tiafimos, the Devin Haneys, the uh, Regis Prograis. You know what I mean? I would love to see Tank fight one of these dudes, one of the upper echelon fighters, because I've grown accustomed to him fighting guys that I know that he's going to beat. You know what I mean? I know he's going to beat Esau Cruz. You know what I mean? I knew he was going to beat Rolly Romero. You can't hype these guys up. We know Tank is a level above them. So we want to see Tank fight the guys that's also a level above them. You know what I mean? Nobody want to see Devin Haney fight Rolly Romero, and there's a reason for that. Um, Nonetheless, like I said, I think Floyd was behind the scenes manipulating Ryan Garcia to steal the limelight from the fight for two reasons. Uh, to stop Devin Haney's momentum, you know what I'm saying, of convincing the boxing community that this Devin Haney and Tank Davis fight needs to happen in 2024. Not we want it to happen. It needs to happen this year. Um, Ryan Garcia stole a lot of limelight from that and was able to leverage the limelight that he stole from that situation to get a fight with Romero. Apparently, they got the deal solidified, and I'm sure Ryan Garcia. I don't know if he's an A side, but I'm pretty sure the purse is almost even because the situation with Devin Haney, as far as I was able to see, was that Devin Haney was the undisputed A side in that situation. Ryan Garcia said he just wanted to be treated fairly. You know what I mean? Which I respected that even, you know what I mean? Because that indicated to me that the negotiations wasn't going to go through a bunch of, back and forths and, ego switching. That's why I like to think of the negotiation process. But anyway, it seemed like Ryan was on the same accord as the Haneys, and we was going to get this fight booked up. But lo and behold, he used the leverage from that situation to solidify, to get the fight with Rolly. And I'm pretty sure to get a more even purse with Rolly Romero than he would with Devin Haney. But behind it all, playing puppet master, in my theory, is Floyd Mayweather. Because Floyd has somehow, some way, manipulated the minds of these young boxers into thinking that them getting money over being great is better for themselves. And I guess in some school of thoughts, it is. But part of being great and getting that bag is having the fans behind you. Because I'm telling you, man, it's going to be crazy the day that the boxing community turns on Tank Davis, even if it happens, because he's 29 years old now. So Tank has been able to skate through his 20s without really fighting anybody of note. And, usually boxers after 30, they go for the money fights. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Tank Davis from this point on. But, I feel like I don't understand how Floyd has been able to manipulate the minds of these young boxers into thinking that just getting the bag was all they needed to do. Robbing the bank, as Floyd Mayweather like to say. It's unfortunate for the boxing fans. You know what I mean? Because there's going to always be a subsect of these dudes that always pay for their fights, too. Tank Davis could be fighting a ghost, and there's going to be somebody in the crowd that's going to pay for it. And that's the unfortunate part, because if we all come together and say, nah, man, we're not paying for no other fight other than Tank Davis and Devin Haney, and everybody stood on that, we would get that fight tomorrow. You know what I mean? Another thing, a lot of these boxing promoters, man, they just let the internet do the promotion for them. It used to be a time and day where these dudes would do little documentaries or interviews with the boxers and build up the fight and actually invest money into the fight, the pre-fight, to get the people involved into it. But now they just throw potential scenarios out there on the internet and let these casual piranhas calling themselves fans of sports, boxing in this particular subject, they let the piranhas eat the garbage, argue over the garbage for 5 years. And when we may get the fight when no one is interested, like the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight, because let's be honest, not as many people was interested in that fight in 2023 as they would have been in 2020. Or we get the promoters to throw out the garbage, you know what I mean, for the piranhas, the casual piranhas to go back and forth about on the internet for 5 years. We get that situation, and we never get the fight, like the Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder situation. Although I will contest them fighting right now would have been a lot more interesting in if they fought right now, excuse me, it would be the same situation as the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford situation. where you have a crowd of people that would have been a lot more interested in a Joshua Wilder fight 5 years ago than you got right now, because these promoters are so lazy and all they do is depend on the internet and the casuals and the savants to go back and forth over nothing. You know what I mean? Over nothing. When we should be coming together, standing on business, and demanding that we get the fights that we want to see. Um, but there's also a subsect of community, a subsect of boxing fans that don't want to see their favorite fighter lose. I see that's a lot of dudes in the Tank Davis camp. They don't care who Tank Davis fight. They just don't want to see him lose, and the risk of him losing to, say, a Devin Haney or a Shakur Stevenson, uh, it petrifies them. You know what I mean? It scares them straight. The thought of Devin or Tank Davis losing to Devin Haney, you know what I'm saying, most notably. I feel like that idea truly scares Tank Davis fans, but I don't know, man. We got to start pointing our fingers at Floyd too. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is the good part about a puppet master. He's able to manipulate so many situations and strings to the point where you could accuse him of all of this stuff, and you was beginning to start on crazy. I know I do, because that's what a lot of dudes, a lot of the people in the crowd say about me when I try to hold Floyd accountable. You know what I mean? I see all of the strings that he's pulling behind the scenes, but that's just me, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content in the channel. Thank y'all for the love and support. Y'all the bosses. I'm the guy that loves to work. Let me get back to work. Peace.